Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the third session of the chapter The Gardener, written by P. Lankesh. In the previous session, we have discussed that the old man, he came to the coconut plantation near Chandraipatna by walking hundreds of miles. When he reached the coconut plantation, he noticed that many things were not well organized. So, he felt that it was necessary to bring in a lot of changes in that plantation. He met the owner of that coconut plantation, and the owner, he wanted a person exactly like him. So, a few conversations took place between the owner and the old man, and the old man was provided with a job. He was appointed as an overseer. When the owner was in charge of the plantation, there used to be small thefts and owner was not able to prevent them. He couldn't prevent them. So after the arrival of the old man, because of his efficient supervision, the petty thefts came to an end and the income of the plantation increased dramatically. Here, the owner was able to make a lot of profit from the plantation, and he also thought that the old man had been doing his work properly. The owner, he also purchased other plantation in his village. So likewise here, his plantation, it was expanded. The plantation was increased in size. So here, there was a noticeable change in the lifestyle of the owner. So here, before the arrival of the old man, the owner was working very hard to improve his plantation. But when the old man solved all the problems and when the owner's all worries disappeared, then he had plenty of time and he did not have any work to do. So here, the personal attention of the owner went towards acquiring social prestige and money. So when the village people came to know that the owner has lot of money and social prestige, they started showing interest to become his friends. So likewise here, the owner, he had acquired a number of friends in the next town as well as in his own village. So here, with the social prestige and new friends, he also cultivated some other habits, some other illegal activities. Among them, adultery was one. Adultery, which means having an illegitimate relationship with other women. And here, the owner's wife, she was very much worried about his adultery. It is natural that women, they won't accept their husband's illegal relationship. So here, the owner's wife, she was also not ready to accept the fact that her husband was using his money and time with other women. He was spending his money and time with other women. So she was not ready to accept this fact, and she was also not happy with the other illegal activities which were cultivated lately because of newly acquired clout, which means newly acquired money and power. So one day she was sitting in coconut plantation, and here the old man, he saw her and he came to her knowing all her problems. The old man witnessed the changes in the behavior of the owner. So he came to the owner's wife and he tries to convince her by narrating one story, because he thought that by narrating a story he could solve her problems. So here he starts narrating a story. Here we can see the two modes of narration. Till now, the author P. Lankesh has narrated the story, and now one of the characters of this story, an old man, starts narrating another story. So here, story within a story, and here the old man starts his narration. So he says that in a far away place there was a man called Tammanna. Tamanna, he had everything in his life. He had a comfortable house, 10 acres of wet land, and also he had lot of supporters or followers who were ready to do anything on his command or order. Among all this, he also had his important possession, Sangoji. But later, the old man, he had corrected his mistake and says that Tamanna's rival was not Sangoji, but his name was Basavaya. And here the owner's wife, she was not interested in the old man's stories, but still she sat there quietly because she did not want to hurt his feelings. She wanted to say that this story is none of my business, but she couldn't do that because she did not want to hurt his feelings. So in the previous class we have discussed till here. Now let us continue with the story. Let that be. Let us assume his name was Basavaya. He was Tamanna's rival. If Tamanna bought 4 more acres adjacent to his land, Basavaya also followed suit. If one had 10 friends, the other acquired 15 admirers. So here the old man, he continues the story and he says that his name was Basavaya, which means here Tamanna's rival was Basavaya. Here Basavaya, he considered Tamanna as his enemy, as his rival, and here he always tries to compete with Tamanna. He always wanted to be superior to Tamanna. So that's why if Tamanna had purchased 4 acres of land besides his land, then Basavaya also followed the same, which means Basavaya also purchased some acres of land. If Tamanna had 10 friends, then Basavaya will acquire 15 more. So here Basavaya always wanted to be superior than Tamanna, so that's why he always wanted to compete with him in every aspect of his life. To begin with, all this looked like healthy competition. However, gradually it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. All land belonged to either Tamanna or Basavaya. In the beginning, the competition between Tamanna and Basavaya appeared to be a healthy competition. Tamanna, he had never considered Basavaya as his rival, so that's why he did not bother about Basavaya's action. He just did whatever he wanted without bothering about Basavaya. But later, their competition reached the extreme level where there was no land left in the village for them to purchase. All land in that village belonged to either Tamanna or Basavaya, which means here because of their competition, if Tamanna had purchased some land, then definitely Basavaya had also followed the same. He also had purchased some other lands. So likewise here, all the land in that village belonged to either Tamanna or Basavaya. Tamanna had 1000 acres and Basavaya owned 800. Basavaya could not tolerate this. He sent word to Tamanna asking him to sell 200 acres. Tamanna did not agree. He was prepared to buy all the land that belonged to Basavaya. Tamanna, he had never considered Basavaya as his rival or enemy. So here Tamanna did whatever he wanted. So here now Tamanna had 1000 acres of land and Basavaya had only 800 acres. When Basavaya came to know that Tamanna possessed 1000 acres and he had only 800 acres, he sent one of his followers to Tamanna's house to inform that Basavaya was willing to purchase 200 acres of Tamanna's land. But Tamanna did not agree to his offer. Instead, he offered to buy all his 800 acres of land. And Basavaya, when he came to know that, he couldn't tolerate that. He was very much angry, and he also thought that Tammanna had humiliated him. Basavaya was mad with rage. He went along with his people and acquired 200 acres of Tammanna's land forcibly. A fence was built around that land. Tammanna could not tolerate this invasion. When Basavaya came to know Tammanna's reaction about his offer, Basavaya was mad with temper. He was very much angry that immediately he went along with his friends and he occupied 200 acres of Tammanna's land forcibly. He also built a fence around that 200 acres of Tammanna's land. And here Tammanna, he could not tolerate Basavaya's action here. He could not tolerate that Basavaya had occupied his 200 acres of land. By now, the quarrel between these two had sucked in all their supporters. Tammanna was advised by his supporters about the various means available for getting back his land. So now the conflict between Tammanna and Basavaya had reached extreme level, and it also involved all their supporters. So here, as I have already mentioned, with the help of his supporters, Basavaya had captured, or Basavaya had occupied Tammanna's 200 acres of land. And now here Tammanna's supporters, they came forward to help Tammanna, and they have suggested Tammanna about various methods which were available to get back his 200 acres of land from Basavaya. There was the court of law. One could also take recourse to the police. If you did not want that, there were many numbers of persons ready to attack Basavaya. So here Tammanna's supporters, they have suggested three methods, and first one, Tammanna could get the help of the court, or he could also lodge a complaint against Basavaya and he could take the help of the police. And the third one is, if Tammanna was not ready to involve court or police in this matter, then he had a lot of supporters who were ready to attack Basavaya to get back Tammanna's 200 acres of land. So here they have suggested three methods. First one, court, and second one, police. And the third one is, if Tammanna was not interested in these two methods, then Tammanna's followers themselves would attack Basavaya and get back Tammanna's 200 acres of land. Such a war had become virtually inevitable, but Tammanna was in search of a method that could annihilate Basavaya completely. So here Tammanna, he did not accept these suggestions. So Tammanna probably thought that competing with Basavaya by physical means has no end, and this war had become almost unavoidable. Virtually inevitable, which means almost unavoidable. So the conflict between Tammanna and Basavaya had become almost unavoidable. So he rejected the methods which were suggested by his friends, because he thought that competing with Basavaya by physical means has no end to this competition, because this competition depends on muscle power, and here muscle power also required a lot of people apart from Tammanna and Basavaya, and here he did not want to involve anyone in this competition or in this conflict, and here Tammanna was in search of a method which could destroy Basavaya completely. So he had never thought Basavaya as his rival, but when Basavaya acquired Tammanna's 200 acres of land. Here Tammanna could not tolerate this and he thought that he wanted to end this unhealthy competition or unhealthy rivalry. So that's why here he was in search of a method which could destroy Basavaya completely. So he thought of putting an end to this unhealthy rivalry of Basavaya by destroying him completely. He hit upon the idea of composing all his experiences in the form of ballads and singing them. Now the rivalry between Tammanna and Basavaya started moving away from things that were visible towards an invisible, abstract domain. So here Tammanna he was in search of a method which could destroy Basavaya completely, and now he got an idea to destroy Basavaya, that was composing ballads. Ballads which means a folk song, composing folk songs and singing them. And when he started composing folk songs, the rivalry between Basavaya and Tammanna started moving from visible to invisible. So here their competition started moving towards abstract domain. Which means at the beginning the competition, the conflict between Tammanna and Basavaya, it was visible, which means if one had 4 acres of land and the other one is also followed the same, he also used to purchase some acres of land. Likewise, if one person had 10 friends, then other person will acquire 15 more. They also involved their supporters in their conflict. But when Tammanna started composing poetry, then their conflict started moving from visible to invisible, because here Tammanna, he is not hurting Basavaya physically. Basavaya had no answer to this. He also tried to sing but couldn't. He performed his agricultural tasks more diligently. This too was no answer to Tammanna. Tammanna's reputation started spreading all around. So when Tammanna started composing songs and ballads and singing them, Basavaya also followed the same. He also tries to compose songs but he couldn't do that. So now Basavaya, he started doing his agricultural works carefully, but that was also no useful, because Tammanna had become famous because of his songs and his reputation was also started spreading all around. His songs started making a mention of Basavaya's cruelty and his meanness. Scholars of folklore were after him. Critics started analyzing and translating his songs and thus earned their share of fame. So now Tammanna, he started mentioning Basavaya's cruelty and meanness in his songs. Here he started to compose songs about Basavaya's character. And his songs were attracted scholars of folklore and they were inspired by Tammanna's songs. And famous critics started analyzing Tammanna's songs and some other critics also translated his songs to other languages and became famous. Basavaya helplessly watched all this. Consumed by anger, he encroached more and more into Tammanna's land. Tammanna did not notice any of these activities. Art had become the raison d'etre of his life. He was felicitated as the best poet of his time. So now Basavaya, he could not find any other method to compete with Tammanna. Basavaya's intention was to be superior than Tammanna, but Basavaya, he could not find any other method to compete with Tammanna. Basavaya was always wanted to be superior than Tammanna, so that's why he also tried to compose and sing, but he couldn't do that. So Basavaya, he became helpless and he also became angry and desperate to destroy Tammanna's reputation. When Basavaya came to know that Tammanna was composing songs about his cruelty and meanness, Basavaya was drowned in humiliation. So here Basavaya, he again occupied Tammanna's land and he went on occupying his land. But Tammanna did not bother about Basavaya's action. He did not notice any of this because he enjoyed his poetry, he enjoyed his singing. And here art became raison d'etre of his life. This word raison d'etre is taken from French language and which means most important reason for his life. So here art became the most important reason for Tammanna's life. So he did not bother about any competition or conflict with Basavaya. Instead, he always cared about his art and about his songs. And Tammanna was also recognized by people and he was also awarded the best poet of his time. Basavaya shrunk in humiliation. Nevertheless, he started filling his life with all kinds of material wealth. He got a palatial mansion built for himself. He appointed a number of persons just to praise him. He bedecked himself with gold, diamonds and other precious stones. So when Tammanna started mentioning about Basavaya's cruelty and meanness in his poems, he became popular among the scholars. Basavaya, he watched all this in humiliation, and Basavaya also tries to overcome this humiliation by filling his life with wealth. So he had built a luxurious mansion for himself. He also started to decorate himself with the gold, diamonds and other precious stones. So Basavaya, he tries to overcome his humiliation by acquiring material wealth. He thought that by acquiring material wealth, he could also become popular among the people. So that's why he built a luxurious mansion for himself and he also decorated himself with gold, diamonds and other precious stones. He also appointed so many people just to praise him, just to congratulate him. But his house looked dull and empty because Tammanna's books were not there. That is what the visitors told him. Therefore, he started inviting scholars, poets and musicians to his place. This was his way of investing his home with meaning. So when Basavaya was drowned in humiliation because of Tammanna's immense popularity, he started filling his life with material wealth. He also built a luxurious house and he also decorated himself with a gold, diamond and other precious stones. Though Basavaya had precious gold and diamonds to celebrate his life, still his house looked dull and empty without Tammanna's books in his collections. So that means here Tammanna's reputation and his works are more precious than the material wealth which were collected by Basavaya. Therefore, he started inviting scholars, poets and musicians to his palace. This was his way of investing his home with meaning. So, Basavaya, when he felt the same, he also started inviting literary figures, musicians and poets and scholars to his house to make his life meaningful. So, dear students, I would like to conclude my third session here. We will continue the story in the next session. So now please take down the questions. First question, who owned 1000 acres of land? Who owned 1000 acres of land? Second one, how many acres of Tammanna's land did Basavaya acquire forcibly? How many acres of Tammanna's land did Basavaya acquire forcibly? Third one, What did Tammanna's supporters advise him? What did Tammanna's supporters advise him? Fifth one, what was the unique strategy evolved by Tammanna to annihilate Basavayya completely? What was the unique strategy evolved by Tammanna to annihilate Basavayya completely? Fifth one, who hit upon the idea of composing and singing ballads? Who hit upon the idea of composing and singing ballads? Sixth one, whose cruelty and meanness did Tammanna's songs make a mention of? Whose cruelty and meanness did Tammanna's songs make a mention of? Next one, who was felicitated as the best poet of his time? Who was felicitated as the best poet of his time? Next, who appointed a number of persons to praise him? Who appointed a number of persons to praise him? Next, why did Basavayya's house look dull and empty to the visitors? Why did Basavayya's house look dull and empty to the visitors? Last one, how did Basavayya try to overcome his humiliation? How did Basavayya try to overcome his humiliation? So, dear students, answer to these questions in your notebook. Take a pic and send it back to us via WhatsApp by 9 p.m. Thank you.